but I was just like so excited to say like I own property and I have tenants and stuff. But like besides that, it's fun when you go to a closing and you see a person that's sitting there and they're like smiling like from ear to ear, like, we've been waiting for this day forever. We're so afraid like something's gonna happen. We won't get it. And so I don't know, it just feels good. Like it makes me love doing it. So
Starting is always the awkwardest. My lips feel extra chapped or something, dry. Like I have cotton mouth. Yeah. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is John Fedro with mobilehomeinvesting.net. I am very proud and excited and happy to introduce my co-host today. We'll be talking about mobile homes, the good, the bad. Jarod from Central Illinois, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Man, this is cool. You're sitting in your like wicker throne right there
Yeah.
for mobile home investing.
Oh yeah.
How long has it been? You're still investing at a pretty good clip.
Yep.
Like a quick Reader's Digest version of, I guess, how long you've been in mobile homes, and then did you have any real estate experience prior?
No, just YouTube videos and stuff I had watched about like single family homes and stuff.
Cool.
But nothing. I bought a house kind of in the process, my own house. And I didn't even know how to put in a light or anything. So it was all new.
Did you bought your house while going through the mobile home journey? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Did we know about that? Did I know about that? Congratulations.
I don't know. Thank you.
Is it a mobile
I had
home?
a lot of crazy stuff happen. What's that?
Okay. Is it a mobile home?
No.
No wheels. Okay.
Nope. No wheels.
That's awesome. Congrats. That's huge.
Thank you.
Wow. Nice. Awesome. Is it centrally located for the rest of your properties or?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool.
So I usually work about half hour north and then half hour south. Don't have any east and west yet, but it's kind of a weird answer.
No, that's what I was looking for. It's a very weird business, so I would expect nothing less than a weird answer. So first question, was there anything that seemed like a huge failure in the beginning that actually turned out to be like a godsend, a blessing in this business?
I would say probably my first two deals. I purchased two in a package.
Okay.
And I just had like these high expectations that I would get them right away and turn around and sell them for a bunch of money real fast. And like I've seen a bunch of these videos and people are getting pretty good sized down payments. So I kind of set the bar high. And it kind of like made me go broke. But I was so bummed out about how long it took me to like figure out what was going on. And I actually, the place where I've invested the most, I thought the location was a bad location. So I was all bummed out thinking like, man, I really messed up on my first two deals, and I'll have to learn from this. And well, as time went on, I thought, man, I made this huge mistake. As time went on, I kind of like changed my approach a little bit, adjusted the numbers. I mean, it took me 6 months to figure it all out. But once I did it, now I've had 6 or 7 deals in that park. So I just had to figure out what amount of money to sell for, how much monthly to sell for, and stuff like that. So it's been a blessing now.
That's okay. So okay.
Sorry, that was all over the place.
No. I mean, I apologize. I think most people did. So getting into those two properties, the first two, you bought them as a package at the same time from the manager?
I actually tried to get 3.
Okay.
And the third one didn't work. So that was kind of a good thing.
All from
that point.
At that point. All from the management or no? Okay. Bought them from the management. Did you get any discounted or free lot rent?
Yeah. So I negotiated 4 months free.
Okay. So you bought these homes for a seemingly good price at the time. Did they need a lot of work?
I didn't think they did.
Okay.
Structurally, they were really good. One of the homes I was so excited about, but someone had smoked in it a lot. And you could literally see where the pictures were hanging on the walls and stuff like that, because it's all just stained yellow. And I went to take my parents there to like show them how excited I was and like how good of a deal I got, and they wouldn't even go inside. So it was pretty bad. But really, it needed just a really deep clean, a little bit of electrical work, Not much, just like a couple outlets didn't work, and paint and carpet. So
Did your parents disown you then, or was it
no, that
later?
was later.
Okay. All right, so you have these properties, you have 4 months of holding costs, or
Yep.
not of holding costs, but of lot rent,
Yep.
where you don't have to pay it. You're thinking, I'm going to get these sold way before 4 months.
Oh yeah.
How long after you bought them what month of the year was it? Do you remember what month of the year?
I bought it middle of June.
Okay, good time,
Yep.
summertime. How many other homes did the park have for sale? Made it sound like they had others.
They had a bunch. Most of them were 2 bedrooms, and not in very good shape. So these were the best 3 I made offers on.
Were all these 3 bedrooms?
Yep, 3 bedrooms.
Okay.
2 and 1 bathrooms.
So then I kind of cut you off there. I think you were going to say something. If
Oh,
you
no,
remember.
you're
Okay.
good.
Then I remember what I was going to say. What was the bottleneck? What was the speed bump? What was that ultimate roadblock that people were not getting through? It took 6 months to overcome. And then it sounds like, working in that park now is good, but yeah, what was it? Was it just a price thing? Was it a repairs thing? Was it a marketing thing? Was it the manager? Did they have to get kicked out? What was the?
Honestly, I'm not 100% on everything. But the biggest thing was, because I had a lot of people apply, even when I had it priced much higher, but no one would get approved. But it wasn't very many people that were applying. So the park was kind of strict on their background checks, which is kind of a tougher thing for me, but it's good to be strict, I found out. But initially, like, I bought them for $1,500 a piece. And I thought I'd be able to sell them for like $5,000 down, and then for like $350 a month for 5 or 6 years. So that's what I was doing. I was marketing them at that price, and I get some people to walk through, and some people just to be like, "Oh, it's nice," and then not ever ask for an application or whatever. And but the fact that I would get someone to apply every once in a while, I was like, well, it has to be priced right. So I didn't want to like gyp myself by lowering the price like too early. So I would just leave it at that price. Well, then it took until I had to start paying lot rent on 2 properties and all the other holding costs to finally, at one point I got down to where I was trying to sell them for cash for a couple $1,000s. Like, I would have lost a bunch of money. But due to things with my job, like losing my income because of an injury and stuff, I was in the hole every month. So I was honestly on the verge of losing my actual house that I just got. So I was desperate, try to sell for $2,000 a piece and just lose a little money, but at least be out of that kind of debt each month. But then once I ended up paying the lot rent once again, I decided, like, okay, what can I change here? So instead of trying to get $350 a month, I dropped it to $260 a month, which is below what you like recommend in your program. But I put it there thinking like someone's got to buy it for this. And then I just looked for $1,000 down, and I got it pretty quickly. Once I did that, sold it. And then the next one, I was like, okay. So I sold one of the 2. The second one I went in and repainted because it was like a yellow color, which just wasn't very appealing. And then I sold it in like 2 weeks. And then I got a third one and sold it right away. And I was like, kind of figured this money thing out, I guess, like how much I could sell them for. So after that, it was smooth sailing.
So when you're buying these, prices across the country will vary. So folks that are saying, you can't find somebody that gives you 2,000 down, like, what's wrong with you? You're a smart person. It's the local market. These parks were selling these homes. These are nice properties. When you bought the first couple, they were nice. Good 3-bedroom properties, appliances, I believe, were included. Yeah. I think you could even move in. They were move-in ready, weren't they?
The one that had the smoke and stuff in it. They could have moved in, but it would have been
the smell. Okay.
Pretty gross. The carpet was disgusting too.
Okay.
But you definitely could live in it. Definitely. If you could deal with it.
And you were having, the park was, this is a very good lesson for folks that are listening. If a park is selling homes, multiple homes, and that was really there was a question mark there because the park was selling so many homes, that could have been, I know we took a calculated very calculated risk when we purchased it, because we purchased the 3 bedrooms, not the 2 bedrooms. We wanted something that's different in that community. So if that park was having trouble selling homes for, 1,500, what makes us think we're going to get $3,000 or $5,000 as a move-in fee?
Yeah.
So in some areas further out away from a metro market, yeah, you're lucky to, or you're happy to get $1,000 move in, $260 a month cash flow. Now, did you have to sacrifice? You just said that you sacrificed on the move-in fee. People aren't going to pay you $5,000 in those areas. They're not going to pay you $350 a month cash flow in those areas. But were you able to extend the payments another 1 or 2 years? Did you still sell for the original price you wanted, or did you take a discount on that as well?
So after those deals, yes, I extended the term.
Okay.
But those first 2, I was so desperate to get out of those because, like I said, I would have lost my house. But I sold them for, I mean, do you want me to say numbers?
Sure, if you don't mind. Sure.
Okay. So I bought the one for $1,500. I paid someone to fix it. I was all in about $5,000, and that's with the lot rent. And then I sold them for like just under 14,000.
Okay.
The second one, I bought it for 1,500, and then I just put maybe $500 into it, and then paid lot rent. So I was under $3,000, sold it for 14,000. So still a good. I mean, I still made 10 grand on them. So
did you fix that? Say, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, I just said I still made it. I mean, it was from what I've done now, it's a bad deal. 2 bad deals. As far, I mean, but I'm still making 10 grand on each one approximately. So it's still a really good deal.
When will you break even with those first 2?
I can't remember. I think the first one that had all the smoke in it, I think it was like 13 months or something like that. So just over a year. And then the second one was like 8 or 9 months.
Okay. So still.
Yeah. So not bad.
No. So still good payoff. On each one of these homes that you're getting, are you doing, because you're getting more in tune with the market and your numbers and what people are looking for, are you having to do less and less repairs? Or rather, like on the first home, you wanted to do, much more, get the home fixed up a lot higher. Now that you have more experience, are you fixing them up less, or does that not really have anything to do with it?
I wouldn't say I'm fixing them as much. I'm more just trying to make them look presentable.
Okay.
I haven't tried to sell like any handyman specials yet.
Okay.
But usually what I do is I try to buy one that just needs like paint or carpet, or both. And then I bought a paint sprayer, so I just go in there and tape things off and spray the whole thing, and it just makes it look so much better. And like paneling, the wood paneling makes the rooms look real small. So if you can paint it light color is what I always do. And then maybe put white trim around the baseboards just so it looks nice. I feel like that really makes a difference and makes people think it looks clean and stuff. So
it does make a difference. That first wow impression, and it smells better. And
Yeah.
you don't even bring up the issue of, oh, that's a mess, or there's mold. I mean, fix the mold, fix the soft spots, fix the smells, get rid of the bugs. Don't even let that get into people's minds of, oh, there's bugs, or oh, there's mold. Just don't even let that be a issue for people. How many deals has it been now total for mobile homes?
So I've sold 6.
Awesome.
I just bought 2 more this like 2 weeks ago. So
yes, awesome. So you're not running away. You clearly are going to continue investing in mobile homes. But seriously, my hat's off for you. I didn't clap. I didn't give you a hug over the internet. But seriously, like that. I've been in that situation where I'm sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul, and I'm borrowing on credit so I can use the cash flow to then pay this off, so then I can invest in my next home. The stuff we have to do bootstrapping from the very beginning. I mean, there's ways to do it where you're financially, you're not risking, losing your house or going bankrupt. But that's so, like, I've just heard this, like, from a number of people of like, we do what has to be done to get into deals that we know are going to be, we know are going to be profitable. We vetted those deals in the beginning. They're good homes. It's in a decent area. The park was on board. There's no way you were going to get to the looking back to the 5 or 6 grand to move in.
Yeah.
Now, maybe an hour away, closer to the metro areas, you're in a unique area where if you drive far enough, oh yeah, you can get $5,000-6,000 move-in fees, no issue. But you're not going to be paying $1,500 for the home to buy it. You're going to be paying like $7,500 or $85 or $50, something around there. So
Yeah.
it varies with the location. But you were able to get out. The homes are going to be profitable.
Yep.
You're on deal 7 now.
7 and 8. Yep.
7 and 8. How many of those homes are you planning on keeping of all of them? How many, I guess, have you kept for cash flow versus selling for cash? Has that been important to you? Like, are you constantly thinking, well, I got to sell this one for cash, or like I'm juggling my money?
Yeah, it has. Now I'm in a unique situation with being injured at work and being off work and stuff like that. So I don't know. I still am not back at work. So kind of one of my main goals was to make enough money monthly in case I would lose the job, that I'd be able to survive and keep my house and keep living like I have been. So I really wanted the cash flow, but also knew that if I could get cash, I would definitely take cash because I could just get more with it. Now my 4th deal, I did 1 deal a month starting in December of last year. So December 2nd, I sold my first one. January 2nd, I sold my second one. February, I sold another one. March, I sold another one. The one in March, I got closer to the city and got it for like $1,700 and put a few $100s into it and painted it. And carpet was pretty bad, but I just steam mopped it. And then it sold that one for almost 20. And there was someone there that offered me cash, and I was going to sell it for like 11,500, I think.
Have you sold? So it doesn't sound like you've sold any for cash.
None.
Okay.
Sorry, I guess that was your question.
No, I ramble on my questions, so I didn't give you time to answer. No, that makes sense. Or that's awesome. So that was your goal of cash flow. We originally talked, and that was important. And the one that went where someone offered 11,000, how much were you into that one for?
Well, I mean, I bought it for $1,700. I probably put $400 into it.
Oh, okay.
Was all.
So more than double.
What, $2,100? But then in that park, they make you pay lot rent and a deposit. Okay. So I had to put another like $900 down. So what is that? 3,100 or 3,000 down. Okay. Total.
You would have got some of that back. What are average lot rents in the area?
Man, they range anywhere from 300 to 550 to 600.
Okay, yeah, they do range.
Yeah.
And do you notice that those nicer parks, they actually, or the more expensive mobile home parks, they always look nicer? Or sometimes is it just a higher price just for seemingly a higher price?
Usually, yeah. Usually if the lot rent's higher, then they look a lot better.
Okay.
So
a lot of senior communities where you
I haven't come across any.
Okay. So they're all family parks. And clearly the managers like you. How many parks are you in with these 7 homes?
I'm only working in 2 right now.
Okay, cool.
But I'm in a pretty decent sized one. They got like 200 homes in it. And then another one, they have like 450 homes. Wow. So I could probably build my whole business just in one of those, or just the big park if I wanted to. But I really want to do a lot. So
what do you mean?
Like I really want to do like 24 a year, 2 a month.
Oh, okay.
But I have to have the money. I'm kind of short on cash as I've been going. I just like stretch myself really thin, trying to get more and more. But
excuse me. That was my question for you, or that's my next question for you, is where is that bottleneck? I mean, is it the leads? Is it the buyers? Is it the sellers? Is it the parks? Is it the capital?
Just capital for me.
Okay.
Yeah. And normally it wouldn't be as big of a deal, but like I said, I got injured and there was several months where I didn't get paid at all. And so.
Have you looked into the Facebook group? Have you reached out to anybody with regards to how do you feel about private money or partnering?
Now I have someone in my family that I have borrowed from.
Okay.
So usually I don't like borrowing money. I kind of hate doing that, but I have with my someone in my family a little bit.
Okay.
So
okay.
I
That
don't
would
know. I've thought about it. I don't know, something about owing people money, and then it's hard to pay people back when there's like another deal that's like popping up at the same time.
uh,
See what I'm saying?
you mean
It
you'd
sounds
rather use
horrible to
that
say.
money to buy the other deal?
Yeah.
Well, that no,
It
I
sounds
mean,
horrible to say, but
well, it sounds realistic. I mean, yeah, you're on the front lines. You see the opportunity that's there. But if you have someone, and it wouldn't take many folks with, and I know that folks in the Facebook group are already doing this from across the country. You have the track record. I mean, somebody seeing this video might be like, "Hey, how do I get in touch with this guy?" Now that you've proved yourself, it's just kind of how much of the deal are you going to give away?
yeah.
25%, 30%. Nobody that invests with you wants these mobile homes back. They're putting the
Yeah.
trust with you. They're putting the faith in you to get a return because, I like you, I trust you. You have this track record. So something that's semi-popular or something that you can think about, and for folks listening, if you're going to sell a home on payments, this is a potential way that you could structure a partnership or a JV offer with a money person. So if
Yeah.
somebody wants to give you money, Jarod, let's say they give you $5,000 for a deal. They give you the $5,000. You buy the home, you clean it up. That's all the money that you need to do the deal. And then when you sell the home, it's a 70-30 split. They're getting 70% of the money, the move-in fee, the monthly net cash flow. They're getting 70% of that until they break even. They get their $5,000 back. Then once they get their $5,000, it flip-flops. You get the 70% and they get the 30%. Because yeah, they get their money back. They feel calmer. And that's just like in the beginning. Once they actually have done some deals with you, maybe it's not the 80-20, maybe it's or maybe it's not 70-30, maybe it shifts or it's different
Yeah.
but that's a thought. So
Yeah. I definitely need to think about that a little bit.
um, what's a we just glossed by, like in this video so far, we've just fast forwarded through like a year's worth of investing
Yeah.
and some like mental hardships that you were having, because you said like you almost were ready to throw in the towel. You
Oh
almost
yeah.
you didn't understand the area. You were um when what was the problem? What was the oversight with lowering the price? Was it, I assume that we must have talked about it, but what was the mental challenge between, I guess, why did it take so long for the price to come down for you to get this thing sold? Because if you don't sell a home in 30, 60 days, that's a pretty decent amount of
Yeah.
time for you to understand the market. Why did it take 4 months? And I guess you said you had people that were getting approved, but yeah, why did
Well,
it
not
take
getting approved, they were applying.
applying?
Not very many though. So
Okay. Why did it take that long to get to finally drop the price and say, you know what? Let's just see. Let's get
honestly,
these
I don't
homes
know.
filled.
At first, it was like I had 4 months, so I was like, I'm not in a huge rush. I'm going to take the time and see, because I want to get the maximum dollar like for it.
Mhm.
Um, and then I remember seeing like someone on the East Coast was getting like $800 a month cash flow, and I was like, dang, that's good. Like I didn't think I could get that, obviously, but I figured 350 was a pretty decent cash flow. And then just the fact that I was getting people still coming and looking at it. And it was my first deal, so I didn't know if it was average to get like one person every 2 weeks looking at it or like um and then once the time hit where I was like, oh, I gotta start paying lot rent. That's like it was like $750 a month total I'd have to pay. Then once that came, I like, okay, I gotta get out of this thing fast. Um and then even when I lowered the price, I still had the same amount of people like messaging me about it,
Mhm.
but I guess not as I think I just confused myself. When I lowered the price, I saw the same amount of people messaging me,
Yeah.
but more started coming and looking at it and actually applying.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I just said.
No, well, ultimately, when people were coming to look at it, they were saying whatever they said to you, whether, hey, I walked through the home, I love it, I want to go get approved, and they were just ghosting on you.
Yeah, a lot of
Did
people did that.
did you ask people, and this is something that I want everyone to do when they have people walk through their home, ask their feedback. What feedback were people telling you? It's too old, it smells, it's overpriced. Were people telling you, constructive criticisms?
I mean, I had some people over Messenger just telling me it was overpriced,
Okay.
but I was like, well, I'm selling on payments, so
Mhm.
you're not paying any interest. Like that's kind of your interest, I guess. Um, so I don't know. I guess I didn't go about it the right way.
No,
Starting out with.
no, it was a combination of a number of things. I mean, you and
Yeah.
I are in communication, and for as much as we did, you're getting calls that came in. We didn't want to lower the price as quick as we should have. You were able to sell these homes, and they sell. These mobile homes, they always sell unless it burns down or the park completely changes their attitude.
Yeah.
The home, it was a nice quality 3-bedroom uh, that ultimately
Jacuzzi tub and all.
so jacuzzi tub.
Yeah.
Were you thinking like, I'm gonna have to move into this home at one
Yeah.
point?
Yep. That's one of the things I was going to talk about later on was just at one point I was thinking about selling my house and moving into a mobile home while I'm fixing it up and just keep doing that until I could buy a house again.
What are some of the things that you, did tell yourself? I mean, were you constantly, I assume that you had to have this roller coaster of emotions of,
Oh yeah.
this, I made mistakes, I shouldn't be here. Um, yeah. How did you feel about that? I mean, just everything from wanting to throw in the towel to, oh yeah, how did, tell us about
Yeah, I
that.
mean, when I first got them, obviously I was like super confident I'd sell them really fast. Then as time went on, I was like, man, this doesn't really work here. Like I thought it was the area, which is really bad. I and then later on, I was like, okay, I can't quit because I know everyone else would just quit if this happened to them. And I know successful people, they just change their approach and keep going until they find something that works. Um, so I remember my thought process was from now on, no more park or no more homes in this park or this area. Like, no way, never do it again. And so I figured that's what I had learned, but I had still had to get rid of the two. So as time went on and I changed the amount for the payments and stuff, I sold them in like less than 2 weeks. And then I was like, okay, well maybe this works. And then all of a sudden another one came available and they offered it to me for $1,500. All it needed was paint and carpet. So I did that and then I sold that within a month.
How does it feel like you're not the landlord, but I mean, you are like affecting these people's lives. Like they're paying you, you're the one in charge. How does that feel in general? Like, have you ever
I
had
mean,
it?
it feels good.
Okay, yeah.
One of my dreams my whole life was to be like a real estate investor. So for like for that 6 months, I was like, I'm so close to being a landlord. Like, even though so many people hate that thought, but I was just like so excited to say like I own property and I have tenants and stuff. But like besides that, it's fun when you go to a closing and you see a person that's sitting there and they're like smiling like from ear to ear, like we've been waiting for this day forever. We're so afraid like something's gonna happen, we wouldn't get it, and so I don't know, it just feels good. Like it makes me love doing it. So I've hit a couple of like big goals that I had. One was to like bring in more passively than like my mortgage is, and I just met that with the last one I sold. Now
Yes.
it's like I'm at the point where if I lost my job, I could just go get any job and like a part-time job and survive, which was a huge goal for me. Um, so now that I have done that, now I feel like I have a little bit more flexibility to like sell for cash. And I just bought another home in that park where that girl offered to buy my place for cash last time. Um, so out there, there's definitely that's one of like the ritzy parts of the area. It's like a lot of people want to move there, and good school district. A lot more people have money. The park is awesome. Um, so out there, I'll definitely try to sell for cash. Well, I mean, I'll take either because I don't. It's money, but cash would be awesome.
Have you been, you said that you're only in these 2 parks, I believe now, or most of the homes are in
Yeah,
the 2 parks.
yeah.
Have you been admittedly like not doing as much in the other 300-400 parks around you? Or is it just you've tried those other ones, but these are the two that were the easiest?
Um,
Or
I've made offers in other parks. Um, some of them like that are owned by like big companies. they don't want to negotiate with me as much, and like not having a lot of capital. I don't want to borrow much more and stuff like that. Plus, just where I'm at right now, I haven't even been like advertising. Like at first I did to get my first couple deals, but now it's just like whenever I finish a home, I can just get on, and then just something pops up or a manager will be like, hey, this one's going up for sale. So it is like a revolving door. Like don't get caught up in one home, because just, I mean, a week down the road, you might have 3 pop up that are going to be good deals. So
are you walking through these homes with an inspector, or you do most of the inspections yourself now?
I do what you say. I walk around. If I have to move furniture, I'll step around all the windows, pushing all the walls and stuff like that. So
what was your main like fear getting started? I mean, what was it? Okay, I'm working with John. I need this help. Like, what was the big mental block in your mind? Not having done a mobile home before, what was sort of the mental block in your mind? Yeah, why did we get started together?
I would say I had no mental blocks, which is probably a bad thing as far as like being scared to like start, until I had to like start calling people. I hate calling people. For some reason, I get this like major anxiety when I'm trying to call like a park manager. So like one of the questions you had sent me was like, do we like to work with partners? I almost resorted to like getting a partner just so they would do the calls.
Wow.
And like splitting things 50-50, just because I was too afraid to.
Whoa.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, they're just normal people. Like once I met one of them, I was like, oh, like.
So it has changed a little bit, your attitude.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
But also like, I felt weird, like faking it to like fake it till you make it. Like I didn't know what I was doing at all. So to go in and be like, oh yeah, like trying to act like I have a partner and stuff, which I pretended you were my partner, which you are. But just acting like I knew what I was doing, I felt so uncomfortable doing that. But as soon as I got my first home, I was like, holy smokes, I've learned a lot. So then I felt more comfortable talking about things they might ask. And I was afraid they're going to ask me something that I had no idea how to answer.
Did they?
Like, what's that?
Did they?
Not really.
Really? Okay. I would assume that they would. And if they do ask, so for the folks listening, if that happens, you say, good question. Give me like until the next time we talk and I'll have an answer for you. Or let me run that by my friend or my partner or my buddy, and let me get an answer back to you. Or if it's something you can ask the manager, well, what would you do, Miss Manager? Okay, so you're in 2 parks. Were they all, it sounds like then it's been a mixture. You've bought some for sale by owner and some for sale by the community.
Yeah, up until last week, basically, I bought all for sale by park besides one.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But the most recent ones, I bought 2 just last week that were for sale by owner.
What are you finding people's reasons are for needing to sell or sell quickly?
Usually it's they just buy another place and they don't want to pay 2 bills.
Have they been selling for long when you find them or they find you?
No, not usually.
Okay.
It's kind of sad to me, but it's also like nice when especially like the first park that I got into, I see people asking for cash and they'll have like a nice home, and I just know the area well enough now that no one has cash there. So just recently there was a double wide for sale. They asked $4,000 for it. And I know people would definitely spend that if they had it, but they just don't. So I offered them like $2,500 and they're like, sure. I was like, okay. Like, and then they were back on taxes like $1,000. So I got it for $1,500 from $4,000. But it's just, it's sad to take advantage of, but they can always say no. So like, I have to like reframe like the way I think about it. Like they can always say no, but I also know that they're going to be stuck trying to sell it for $4,000 until they decide to come down. And most people don't even have 2,000 there. Sorry, I keep
no, that's so true. I mean, they're in your shoes back when you weren't sure about that particular market or what you absolutely could sell it for. Something that we should have known before you actually bought the home. But these folks the guy asking $4,000, who knows? He might have paid 8 or 10 or 20 for it years ago.
Yeah.
And now for him to say, and for folks across the country, they might be thinking like $4,000. Why can't somebody sell their home for $4,000? In a number of states, if you go out far enough into the wilderness in the rural areas, those are real numbers. I mean, well, maybe not every state, but you can like, it's tough to sell some homes in some areas, decent homes for like those lower amounts. And if that home was anywhere else, it would be worth like 10 times the amount. But it's a location thing. So I'm sorry.
And they'll pay, like, in the long run, they'll pay, I mean, $20,000 for that home, or 25, maybe even 30 for that double wide. But it's just the fact that no one has the cash. So this is just a way for them to get in. And once they get in, they're happy, and eventually they're going to own the home. Hopefully. That's the goal, at least.
That's the goal, at least. Do you educate the buyers? I'm sorry, the sellers, to say, hey, Mr. Seller, here's what I can do for you. But listen, if you want to sell it on your own on payments, you know, you could probably get double or triple that. Do you let them know, or do they already know that? Have they already been told that?
I don't usually tell them they can sell it on payments.
Okay.
But like one person I really lowballed on another double wide, I didn't end up getting it. I offered her $500 for the home, and I knew it was worth a lot more than that, but that's all I had at the time. And so the way I kind of framed it when I talked to her was like, I am holding other homes right now. Your home is definitely worth what you're asking for. So definitely keep marketing it if you're able to. But what I can do is, if you need to get out now, I can give you $500 for it. And then I thought they're going to be mad, but they're like, we'll think about it. And they called me back and said, you were so professional and we really appreciate you. And I had said, like, you only have it on Craigslist, like post it on Facebook, because you get a lot more traffic, but they don't have Facebook. And they said they would with their son, and they just never did. And now I can get that home for $1, and I don't want it, because now I know what a good deal is in the area.
Did they ever sell it, or like
they did sell it to somebody for a few $1,000s, and they started to work on it and realized it was a lot more work than they knew how to do, basically. So they just gave it back to the park, and the park wants to give it to me for $1 now. So
wow.
Just right now, it's not the smartest thing for me to take on, because there's still better deals coming in all the time.
Any advice? I'll start that question over. Any advice? This whole thing, I've been looking at this little loop. As much as I pull it over, like it always goes back. Any questions, any advice for someone starting this, either starting it on their own, or being too afraid, or wanting to get help? I mean, any advice that you would give yourself in the past? Or
yeah, one thing would be, I mean, I went into it thinking like the mobile home thing was going to be like the easiest way to like make passive income, and it definitely wasn't, because I had started at one point and quit, and then started again. I don't know if you remember that. Because it was so hard. It was a lot more work than I expected, and a lot more of my like nerves getting in the way. So it's definitely takes a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of driving and calling people, and then going in and doing the work. So just be prepared for that. If I would have known that, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have started. I'm just kidding.
No, that's huge. I mean, as much as I try to prep folks when we first initially talked, or on these videos, to not just paint a completely rosy picture. Yeah, that's real talk. I mean, seriously. I hope that you feel like this is a niche that is becoming more streamlined, or you're more on top of things now. But you're right. You could have given up how many times in the process. But you're making money on every home. You haven't lost money. You've lost some hair probably, but none. No, I mean, I think I know I have. It's like nothing personal, just the stress. It's stressful sometimes. Man. Awesome. This was cool.
One more thing. I don't know if you'll put this in there or not, but I don't know if you ever played the game called Cash Flow.
Oh yeah.
So I love that game, and I printed out one of those sheets and transferred it to a whiteboard as like my goal setting board. So like every home I get, I put on this list of like, and actually I ran out of lines, so now I'm just like combining the lines. But the purpose of the game is to make your passive income exceed your expenses, and just having these different like goals. Like the first one was exceeding my house payment every month, which I just hit. Second one was to get this interview, which is kind of funny. Like, feel like I made it finally, even though I haven't really made it at all. And then the third one is exceeding that expenses. So I'm like a couple away from that. So, and then in the game, that's basically when you win, is when you exceed your expenses with passive income. So I'm getting close, and I don't know. It just seemed like a really good way to do it. It's mobile homes.
And that's just one, I think, in like
One
in like the one hierarchy, like the ladder rungs, like wherever you do end up or where you can, like the potential. I still think you're on like the first rung.
Yeah.
Kind of, with
Yeah.
like, okay, I
I
only have,
feel like it.
yeah.
Yeah. I definitely can grow way more. So, yeah.
Thanks so much, Jarod, for being
Yeah,
here.
thank you. Appreciate it.
You have made, Franklin, thank you as well. You seriously have, well, you've made it to this step. You've made, yeah, we're all still trying to make it, and, you know, and your goals should keep changing and keep getting, you know, evolve and getting more and more. Man, that's awesome. I mean, I hope to know you for many, many years to come. Obviously, the homes on land and parks, the whole parks, anything you need, just
That's
reach out.
Goal.
But yes,
parks.
Yeah.
So
cool, Jarod. Thank you again.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate your time.